Alright guys, back working on the F-150 today. If you've been sticking along, you know I have an ABS light on. So I went and picked up a wheel speed sensor. Hopefully it takes the light off. This one is actually kind of small, one of the smaller ones I've seen. So hopefully it works. We'll compare it to the old one once we take it out. The first thing we gotta do is take off that driver's side wheel and tire. So I've already got the jack stand and jack out. To get these Ford hubcaps off, there's a little cutout. And of course mine's on the bottom, but usually I just grab a little flathead, kind of stick it in there and pry it and just kind of make yourself some room and it pops free. I use a size 13/16 to get these off. A 21 would probably work as well. We have the wheel and tire off. Next, you want to go ahead and take off the caliper and the bracket. So you have these two size 13mm bolts that we have to take out. When getting these calipers off, you can use a flathead and kind of wiggle in there and get the two cylinders pushed in. I got this one up here a little bit to kind of show you guys an example. You have these two cylinders, you have one up top, one up bottom, but you can kind of squeeze a flathead in between the cylinder and the actual brake pad itself. And just kind of squeeze it back in and kind of give yourself some wiggle room. Just a quick tip if you guys are taking these off and kind of getting a hassle, but you can kind of come in from the top or from, you know, down here and kind of go each and which way. Just a quick tip. Alright, caliper is off. Don't leave it dangling. I have mine kind of set over here. You can bungee cord it as well. Just don't want to mess up that hose. Now we actually move on to the pad bracket, which is going to be a size 18. You're going to have one here and then also one down here. Now also it would not be a bad time to go ahead and change out your pads. But mine are actually surprisingly still in pretty good shape. I bought this truck used and was expecting to go ahead and change them out, but they actually still, I mean, they're definitely used, but they definitely still have a lot more life to them than I was expecting. But yeah, let's go ahead and rip off that pad bracket. Pad bracket is off. If you guys are curious why we're taking apart all the brakes, it's because that sensor actually runs in behind that caliper. And you can see there's a little hex right here, looks like a size 5. So now we'll go ahead and take this screw out, run it back along, just kind of unclamp it from all these, just like so. And then this one you can actually break off because there's going to be a new one on the new sensor. And then you come up top, and if you look right in there, you can kind of barely see it. The rest of the sensor is right here, and you kind of just unclip it, clip the new one in, run it back down behind the wheel well liner, kind of clip it back in place, and screw the new one in, and then we'll go ahead and put everything back together. Old sensor is out, and they actually do appear to be the same size. I thought they looked a little bit shorter than I remember, but they appear to be the same. All the connectors look to be about the same, and same thing on the ends down here, they're the same. So we'll go ahead and install this new one. This one did have a little bit of gunk built up on it, so that could have been throwing it off. So hopefully with this new sensor, those dash lights go off. Have the new sensor screwed in. Don't forget to put this one back in place. Just kind of wrap that line back around. This one actually goes on the caliper, so I'll have to wait to get that one in. Kind of go up, put your little plastic screw back in and come back up to the top. And then just plug it back in place. Camera angle is probably pretty bad, but it just plugs in right there. Got the brakes back on. Just another little piece of advice. If the rotor's giving you a hard time, just kind of put a lug nut on there to kind of keep it in place, but obviously make sure you take the lug nut back off before putting the wheel and tire on. And also when it comes to torque specs, the one for the pad bracket is 95 foot-pounds, the one for the caliper is 25 foot-pounds. I know a lot of us just kind of do ugga-dugga to tighten as much as we can, but actually when it comes to brakes, I always make sure that we actually you know, torque those to spec. But let's go ahead and put the wheel and tire back on here and take it for a drive. Wheel and tire is back on the truck. If you guys are kind of curious why it's all wet down here, I took advantage of having the wheel and tire off and kind of cleaned up underneath there. Still have to do the wheel and tire, but I want to take this thing on a test drive and see if these lights go away. I doubt they go away with this. Us just plugging it in, but we'll go ahead and crank it up. Probably take it around the block. Yeah, they're still on. We're probably gonna have to drive around a little bit and see if they go off. Still in my neighborhood, and of course, as soon as I turn the camera off, 2 of those lights go off. I still have the one which might be a tire pressure related issue because I still have the light over here, so it might be a TPS issue. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep driving around a little bit. Hopefully it turns off, but I'm gonna go ahead and bet that's probably a TPS issue. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the video out here. Hope to help out one of you guys. As always, appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks.